Hi, welcome to the seventh part of the Poverty and the Time News Surveys lecture of the Gender Economics lecture series, which is prepared for the Middlesex University Northern Cyprus campus. In this part, we will look to the article of Bardassi. He covered Vodon, basically, Quentin Vodon and Elena Bardassi. Um, so the article is on basically the challenges of measuring time poverty, and they look to specifically to the Guyana, which is. Let me briefly show you the place. Uh, it is of course showing Turkey. Um, Here, basically. Well, in Turkish it's called Guinea. That's why it's this place. I believe. Oh, I think here it is below Senegal, which is here. Yes, this one, this place. It's an African country. Um, it's on the coast, probably more used to trade with European countries, and that's why it might be more urban and more relatively more developed, maybe also compared with other European countries. And the main view of the article is, unlike income poverty, the time poverty doesn't have a universal definition, and in order to understand time poverty, it's necessary to define it properly and then measure it. Uh, well, maybe one point of the time poverty, which is different from the income poverty, might be the fact that the people are, it is defined for specific individuals. So how much work individuals need to spend at work in order to be able to, how much individuals, how many hours individuals spend at work, and basically whether each individual, for each individual, we define whether they have specific time for their needs and maybe also to some extent for their wants. Uh, as a result, unlike income poverty, which is defined for the families, and very difficult to, if you want to break down the income poverty to the individuals in the families, it's not easy, certainly. The time poverty is much more easier to do that, to do basically, to define. For time poverty, it's more easier to define for individuals within a family. Um, well, income poverty has a unique definition, which is basically set by the amount of uh, income that is necessary to meet a certain needs in the for a four-person family. Basically, that's how the usual income poverty line is set. Um, and people below this line are considered as the income poor people. For the time poverty, well, the usual way should be driving a similar type of line. But driving similar type of line might be to some extent not that easy for different reasons. For one reason, um, well, first I should mention maybe, well, the time poverty concept itself is mentioned first by the um, some economists in 1970s. Although the usual working time, and this is what I mentioned also here, the missing activities, but there is another type of missing activities, but the length of working time and the complaints on the length of working time go back all the way to the late 19th, 20th century, and even to some extent actually the earliest ones go to the early 19th century. And the idea was the time that is spent at work for wage labor should be well. The campaign at the very beginning was for 8 hour working day, and although the actual working time has gradually come down. And it has also translated to 40 hours working week with 2 free days and 5 working days, 5 times 8 is 40. And the slogan was, for example, 8 hour for work, 8 hour for recreation, and 8 hour for sleep, which was the most natural division of time according to the working labor movement at that day. Uh, Here, however, up to all the way to the maybe 1970s, the working time is defined only as the time that is spent for wage labor. The time spent inside of the household is not considered as time worked, although to meet the overall general needs of the household, people also work, and that need might also the time necessary for work might also very much depend on income that is flowing to the house, basically, to what extent, some extent, and secondarily also maybe to the conditions available for the people. For example, if getting water is more difficult for that house because water resources are far away, in that case, I mean, you need more time to get water as opposed to case when you have right next to the house or even inside of the house a clean water source. And from all of these activities, there is some time left for the uh, private time. This is necessary to stay healthy, first and for all for sleeping, but also for maybe cleaning, for again, for eating, and for other activities that are necessary, and also for some amount of leisure which is necessary for staying healthy, some free time, basically. But where we can set this line is difficult thing. And here we have also difficulty of defining the working time. So inside of the household, what is leisure? What is the time, the activities? What are the activities that are made for the whole household? As we have seen, childcare and elder care, those things are usually taken as activities. But the overall household chores like cleaning and um, basically I'm cooking for whole households might also be involved. They're not personal, but these are done for the whole household. But not also to some extent, those activities can also be done to have fun. I mean, I might play with my children to have leisure. So there's a discussion there. I mean, it's not necessarily that much agreed upon. Uh, and also, well, uh, also, well, there is this question of I was just considering whether to include it or not at this point, but let me include this. It's a question of um, multitasking activities, the intensity of the work, and well, in some cases, well, members of the household might doing multiple activities, which might increase the intensity of their work. And that's actually why, in this study, especially, when people just ask the woman how much time they spend for basic activities, and then organize those that framework, correct it, normalize it to 24 hours. The sum of the activity time was exceeding 24 hours actually, and they assumed actually each activity has been set certain time longer than it actually was. So they have shortened each activity, including leisure, by a certain amount, and then they get the total time worked for domestic labor and the time that is spent for leisure and the time spent for maybe wage work. Um, but it might be very much possible that certain type of activities were actually done together. I don't know. We might maybe cook and at the same time iron the clothing, maybe, or look for the child. Um, in that case, actually, the question is whether, the fact, the intensity of the work the person is actually carrying might be higher, and whether this intensity, this increase in intensity, should be included in the um, somehow time poverty measurement is the question. Although, of course, this intensity differences are also existing for the wage work, and I don't know how we include those intensity. I mean, differences, the different intensity for the work into the wage work is a question. And also, you don't need to be necessarily do multitasking to have different intensity for work. For once, I can carry, for example, 2 kilogram uh, uh, something that is 2 kilogram from somewhere to somewhere else, or I can carry something that is 10 kilogram. In both cases, I'm not doing multitasking. I'm doing just one task, carrying something. But in the second case, the intensity of my work is higher. So that's the intensity of the third question is a difficult question. And there's another question. The question is, well, are people willingly want to sleep less? Maybe they like cooking. They cook because they like cooking. Maybe they like spending time with their children. They rather spend with their child. They rather sleep less, or even 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, maybe, and they want to spend more time with their children. And maybe that's their choice. Maybe that's what they like. So when we are talking about time poor people, maybe what we see as domestic activities are for them activities they like, they choose to do those activities, and that's why they are maybe time poor. So all of these are the questions. Now, uh, how to settle this question? Well, the way this last question is settled is done. First, the first question we have seen was settled by just ignoring the intensity. That's a problem, but we don't have any way to solve this problem, so this problem is ignored. And then different weekly working time are actually set to define the poverty line. And you will see basically, you see the formula, we will see this formula in more detail, and there we will also see the boundaries, I mean, poverty lines, basically. But the last question was also handled in a way. So basically, there are different people in the society. There are certain people who are income poor but not time poor, who have sufficient time, and there are certain people who are income poor but not time poor but not income poor. The main point is this: the question asked is here is this. Are the people have the option, considering the wage they got from the job they have, uh, able to get out of income poverty, also the hours they can work, and maybe also the available number of hours available to them. But hourly wage is basically set this way, assuming that they can increase and decrease their working time as they want. Do people have the option to get out of income poverty uh, without being time poor? So when they increase their working time to maximum possible limit, both at home, domestic work, and also in the market, are they able to get out of income poverty? So the people who will stay either income or time poor are taken as the poor people according to this measurement. So that's the basic thing. Of course, the question could become, are the people who are really able to really change their working time? Maybe the people who are working, getting a lot of income, but working, let's say, for 12 hours per day, don't have any option. Anyway, we'll talk more on this. in the next part. See you in the next part.